Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. It's Leanne Scott from Move Therapies in Osoyoos, British Columbia, Canada. And I'm here with Denise Lawson, and she is one of my students that has come to ABM over about a year, I think we established. And I've just got a couple questions for her to explain why she started ABM to begin with, and what has transpired in her life since the dawning of her lessons. So, Denise, hi, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to Move Therapies. So we'll make this real casual, real easy. The first thing I would like to ask you is what initially brought you to see me, to come to Move Therapies?
Well, first of all, when I heard about Move Therapies, my interest was piqued because I have a neurological disorder.
Okay.
And I know that in about 10-15 years, my mobility will be affected. So I came in on a preventative basis.
Which is very, very smart. Good. Looking to the future. I mean, quite frankly, we all know that there's going to be some kind of I struggle finding the word for this because I don't want to say degenerative, because it doesn't have to be.
No.
But we do know that there will be a slowing down, for lack of a better word, with the aging process. So, I mean, for everyone, preventative is the way to go to keep this up at the level that you want to. So you had a little impetus because you were like, okay, the chances are higher,
Very
so
much so.
I'm going to get in and do something about it, which is very smart and very brave. And I mean, I just don't. It's this. I don't want to use the word smart again, but it's proactive. That's what I'm looking for, and that's, I think everybody should follow in that line. So what have you found?
Well, I found some very surprising benefits. I'm experiencing some very surprising benefits. I've been a walker for, I'm going to say 50 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Started walking very young for pleasure.
Yes.
And I realized at that time that it just was therapeutic for me.
On so many levels.
So many ways. And so what I found is that my walking in the last few years was quite tense and not as enjoyable.
Right.
And so my walking has changed, and the light bulbs come off once in a while, and I think, oh, this is different.
Nice.
And so I've really softened, and I'm very aware of what's happening to my body as I'm walking. I've done some variation. The 9 essentials
are key. I know, aren't they key? It's like shocking. They come in with everything we do. Yes.
They do. They spread out in my whole life.
And that's, by the way, the 9 essentials in the back there. We'll mention them and talk a little bit about that. And so what you just said, you said you move more with attention. Slow is key. And that's probably changed, because I know a lot of people that are walkers have a tendency to power walk and go fast.
Absolutely.
So that was you. Okay, so that would be a big change. You also said you tried different variations as you're walking.
Yes.
Beautiful. Can you give us a quick example of what a variation would have been that you would have thought that you changed?
A variation would be changing my route.
Oh, perfect. That's absolutely. Because it's a stimulator for the mind to change your route, and you don't have to go in such rote behavior, and you'll find that you'll vary other things because you are on a different route. That's a very key one. I also like subtlety, because I want to say that's one of the ways, because people a lot of times say to me, what do you mean soft? Like, I thought we wanted to be strong and vital, and in the way we speak, I think of strength for that. And so people get confused by soft. So when Annette speaks to soft, she often says subtle, and it's or a reduction of force. And a lot of times we find that when we reduce the force or the efforts that we put into, say, your walk, the pain will subside, the tightness will subside, that you were explaining earlier will subside, and you can continue it longer. And there's a lot less chance of injury when you're not walking like this.
Exactly. And it just seems a lot more natural.
Absolutely. It's more like you walked as a young person.
Yes.
There wasn't effort. Yeah, it just was. Beautiful. Great. Okay, perfect. So you've noticed it in your walking, and like I said, it was a big part of your day and a big part of your life.
Yes.
And I can imagine, because we were speaking of this earlier, that if you couldn't do your daily walks anymore, it would not just change the fact that you wouldn't be getting the exercise. It would really change your mood, it wouldn't change your lifestyle, it would have changed everything. So that's great that it's been able to continue that on. I want to ask you really quickly how, when we first started, you started with a one-on-one intensive.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so we did an intensive to begin with. There's a lot of things learned in that time, and I noticed tons of changes with you in that time. And then you continued on with sort of maintenance, what we call.
Exactly.
Yeah, maintenance in group lessons. And how has that been for you? So maybe give me a little bit of idea of where it started and how it's been now.
The group lessons have been wonderful because I feel it's an education. You are talking constantly.
Yes, I am, just as we are in this video.
And that's wonderful because it just clicks. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And of course, in the group, you're also very directive and
right. Yes. Right. So it's not just
making sure we're moving correctly and explaining why we're doing this.
And I think, I know with Annette, that was really big in her lessons as well. There was a lot of discussion, well, a lot of, for lack of a better word, talk. There was a lot of explaining. There was a lot of why. Why are we doing this? Not just, it's wonderful that you can lift your shoulder easily, but why is that wonderful? What does, functionally, what does that move us into?
Yes.
And so I do try to do that, and I'm glad that you brought that up because, like you said, it's wonderful to move your shoulder freely, but what will that do for me in everyday life? And it needs to be addressed right in within the lesson.
And you help us to make us aware of how we're feeling. Which is great.
Actually, it's interesting because one of the lessons that I do, because I'm reading straight from Annette's notes, she actually stopped and said, it was, I think, on Tuesday's lesson, and she said, how does that shoulder feel? And all of you were like, oh my gosh, it's so much, it's like it was tight when I came in. It's soft. It's just instantaneously changed. It feels so much better. And then in her lesson, she actually said, like, how does it make you feel?
Exactly.
On a whole, and I think it's a slight difference with any of the other sort of exercise regimes that I've come across, which is lovely, that it actually talk about the emotional and what it does in terms of hope and desire and keeping our momentum up as we age. I don't know if there's anything else. Is there anything else that you wanted to say in regards to the classes? I know that you have a lot of fun.
I do.
We have a lot of fun in the classes. It's a social thing as well, and it's nice to come together with people that have the same interest, that want to keep themselves young, keep themselves vital as we age, because we all do.
Yeah, I have to say that the 9 essentials have really creeped into my life in all aspects of my life.
Yes,
Initially, I really concentrated on one at a time, and I was doing it through my walking. But lately, I'm finding, oh my goodness, I'm integrating these essentials into other parts of my daily living.
Which is exactly, that again. They're wonderful things, but if they don't come into a function in your life, then there's a limitation of what they can do.
Right.
I find a lot that if I use them in my parenting, totally different story. So that's wonderful. Well, I'm so excited.
The last thing I want to say is...
You betcha, say it away.
Life is great.
Life is great. Yes, we do. We live in a wonderful, beautiful place, which is very outdoorsy. The weather is very, it allows us to be outside a lot of the time.
Yes.
So we're very lucky that way. And I very much appreciate you guys, the interest. I know you talk about it with other people, and it's an exciting thing to come across at this time in our lives. I think it's and it's been vital in our lives.
I just wish it had happened years
I know,
me
too. But
at that time, I wouldn't have had time to
and also,
devote to this.
I think do things come into our life when we need them? But I'm not sure about that. But
I think so.
But I also think a lot of times, sometimes if we're not in the right space, and we were just talking about that out in the lobby, that if you're not in the right place, it's not going to come in the right way anyway. So
that's right.
It came when it came, and it's great, and you jump on it now. I don't think there's anything else I want to cover. So basically, thank you.
You're welcome
for saying all this. You didn't have to. I know.
And thank you for everything you're doing.
My pleasure. It is my pleasure. It really is. It warms me that this helps, and it helps people. so it's back to where we are. We're in Osoyoos, British Columbia. The name of the center is Move Therapies. My name is Leanne Scott. I'll put a link below on how you can contact me if you have any questions regarding the one-on-one intensives or the group lessons. And intensives, of course, one-on-one can be done. You don't have to be local. You could come for a number of days a week and do an intensive, which is nice to know, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't live there, so I can't do that. The other nice thing about Osoyoos is if you come and do an intensive, you would come to a beautiful place, and you could spend the day on the beach when you're not in lessons. It just is a nice little tidbit. So thanks so much, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.